All right, guys, we are back, and I want to talk a little bit of Errol the True Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. Guys, I got some good news for fans of both of the fighters. But before we get into that, I want to welcome you guys back to the channel. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed, and let's get into this one. Now, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. You guys know that they are both set to fight this year. We know Terence Crawford is going into a matchup, his first time at 154. He'll be taking on Madrimov for the 154-pound WBA title. Now, we got news the other day that Errol Spence Jr. will be taking on none other than Sebastian Fundora for the WBC title. You guys know Sebastian Fundora defeated Tim Tszyu to unify the WBO and WBC titles. Now, we know Crawford was the super champ. He activated his super champ status for the WBO. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with that belt, if Errol's going to be fighting for, or if Crawford and Madrimov are going to be fighting for. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. You guys know the politics in boxing, they stink, but it is what it is. And like I said, we do have some good news on the horizon for both of these fighters. Now, as far as Madrimov goes, I think, this is an easy win for Crawford, in my opinion. I think Madrimov's like 10-1, not very well known. He does fight at 154. This is Terence Crawford's first time at 154. But from the highlights that I've seen, it looks like, he's not really going to be a match for Crawford, in my opinion. But I don't expect Crawford to overlook Madrimov because, he's a professional. He trains hard, and he's a gym rat, and he's dedicated to the sport. So I'm sure he's going to be 100% ready for that fight, regardless of who his opponent is. He's not going to go in there half-assing it, in my opinion. Now, we got the news, like I said, about Errol Spence Jr. and Sebastian Fundora. Now, that fight is set for October. We don't have a date yet. And I will say this. I talked about this a little bit in the last video. I think that this is not an easy win for Errol Spence Jr., in my opinion, because of a few factors. First of all, the inactivity of Spence. He's fought, 2 times in the last couple of years. Of course, Yordenis Ugas and the loss to Terence Crawford in 2023. You have the issues with his eyes. You have the car accident. He has a lot of baggage when it comes to that type of stuff. And also, he's changing trainers. We don't know who his trainer is yet. But we know he's not with Derrick James. Him and Derrick James kind of split ways. So there's a lot of things going on with the Errol Spence Jr. Camp, I would say, that's playing against him in this fight. Now, you have Sebastian Fundora, who is tall, rangy, and now, he's starting to use that jab to his advantage, that long reach. We saw it in the Tim Tszyu fight. Normally, we see Sebastian Fundora fight in the pocket. But ever since he got knocked out by Brian Mendoza, he had to reevaluate his game. And, he used his jab very effectively against Tim Tszyu. And I think, that jab could be a problem for Errol the True Spence Jr. We're going to see. But I just think it's going to be a hard fight for Errol Spence Jr. And that's why I think he tweeted that this may be the last time seeing him. If he loses this fight, I think he may retire. But if he wins, I don't really see him retiring. So here's the good news for both of the fighters, for the fans. It says that the Crawford-Madrimov fight will be a WBC 154-pound final eliminator, with the winner being the mandatory for the WBC WBO welterweight champion Sebastian Fundora and Errol Spence Jr. winner. So here we can have a rematch between Errol the True Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford that a lot of people want to see. Me personally, I thought that Crawford did enough to where we didn't have to see a rematch. But I have to be honest, if this does happen, if they beat their opponents, both beat their opponents, it would be interesting to see those two mix it up at 154 and both of them having the opportunity to become a 3-belt champion. Yeah, I'm all for it. So this is the good news. And sometimes things work out that way, even though I didn't like, what was happening, with them trying to leapfrog Crawford and put Errol Spence Jr. in the forefront. Even though he lost to Crawford, here it is. You know, we might get that fight once again, and we'll see who's going to be the king at 154. But like I said, they both got to get past their opponents. I think Crawford does have the easier opponent. Errol Spence Jr., you know, Sebastian Fundora, he's a tough guy. Tough guy, got a mean streak, and we'll see. But you guys let me know what you think about this turn of events. Are you excited for it? Do you think Errol Spence Jr. can defeat Sebastian Fundora? What do you think about Crawford's chances against Madrimov? You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. It's the ZMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.